It is a good idea to do some type of cardio or physical activity every day. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. Again, a topic that comes up when it comes to health and fitness, and I want to be clear. Everybody knows that I believe that weight training and strength training should always be our primary training modality unless we are an endurance-based athlete, okay? Specifically if we compete in something endurance-based. Outside of that, I believe for everything from appearance to overall health, that the research confirms that lifting is the best form of exercise to do. However, I want to throw in these caveats that, number one, most of us can only handle so much lifting and recover from and adapt to it. Okay? That is a big point. It's a point that we have to think about and acknowledge in this entire conversation. Overtraining can be a real thing. All right. But that being said, just general activity and even low intensity cardio is something that we benefit from. We are very much an endurance-based species. The human race is an endurance-based species. We are, quite frankly, slower and weaker than most other animals. Like most other mammals, they're just stronger than we are pound for pound. They're more explosive. They're faster. We're an endurance-based species. We're great at actually running long distances. We really are when we're in shape. So we're kind of built for it. And accordingly, we are not really intended to be sedentary. We're not intended to be sedentary. So when it comes to the idea of us, well, let's just do some lifting and just completely rest the rest of the time. I think particularly for those of us who again, have desk-related jobs. I mean, yeah, I'm a coach, but I spend most of my working time technically sitting down. I'm at my desk. I do online coaching. I do social media. So, I fall in that category. If that's you, that's just simply not healthy. We need to get our activity higher. And while we generally need days off from lifting, I am not an advocate for lifting 7 days a week. I am someone who has tried it, someone who's done it, because I've always pushed these different extremes. I can tell you start breaking eventually. That doesn't work. Doesn't work at all. But cardio is a little bit different. At least in the context of lower intensity cardio that doesn't use a lot of recovery resources. Like for me, like you guys will see me do those weighted vest vlogs. Get out and throw your weighted vest on. Walk 10, 20, 30 minutes a day. Okay? Pretty straightforward. And again, when it comes to basic cardio and things like that, I'll get into that in a moment. I don't think we need to program that. If we're just doing it for general health, we don't need to program it. We don't need to have progressive overload. We don't need to put a lot of thought into it. Just get up and move, do some activity. Right? General physical preparedness. But the point is, we as a species simply do better if we stay active. We need to have physical activity every day. And I think that physical activity, if we are pursuing health, if we are pursuing excellence, that physical activity does need to include something beyond just our weightlifting. Now, again, let me be clear. I think weightlifting should generally be our primary modality. Why? Because it builds muscle, improves insulin sensitivity, does all these other things that we need, builds bone density, all this really good stuff. And cardio doesn't always do those things. Particularly, maybe the insulin sensitivity, but definitely not the bone density, definitely not the muscle building. But it's good for your heart. It's good for your metabolic rate. It's good for your energy turnover. Okay? It's good for just burning through calories. It's just good for our health in general. And we thrive if we do it. You need to get up and walk. You need to do things. And like I said, you can be riding a bike, it can be cycling, it could be dancing, it could be walking. In my case, I walk with a weight vest on. You can go walk your dog. Do these things. Be physically active. Find, fairly leisure sports that you want to get involved with if you need to. Like I said, you can dance. Okay, you can go play tennis. I don't care. But you need to be active. And we need general physical activity or light cardio of some type, I think 7 days a week. I don't think that we benefit from rest days from that. I don't think we benefit at all. All right, now we come over to the other point. People are like, well, what about your gains? It'll kill your gains, bro. No, it doesn't. Higher intensity cardio has to be accounted for. Like you get out and push a sled, You get out and do interval training. You do hill sprints. Okay, yeah, you absolutely have to account for that. For the guys who want to gain muscle and strength, that has to be factored into your total recovery. Has to be thought of in your programming, sure. But that's not what we're talking about. This other activity is not going to interfere, particularly not if you're used to it. And if it's not pounding your joints in any way, this is not a problem, right? If it's not something that's high impact and beating your joints up, it's not going to be an issue here. Now, jogging might be for some people, especially if you're at a higher body weight and you carry a lot of muscle, okay, but you need to account for that. But otherwise, no, it's not going to interfere with your gains. It's not going to interfere with your gains, and if anything, it can help facilitate better nutrient partitioning, okay? It will help you stay potentially leaner. Not necessarily leaner because you're going to burn more calories. You'll have to re-eat those calories if you're trying to gain muscle. But here's the thing to think about there. It lets you eat more calories. Okay, now if you have a high amount of insulin sensitivity from lifting weights, okay, very high amount of insulin sensitivity because you lift weights really hard, and this allows you to eat more calories, eat more carbohydrate, more protein, right? Because you simply burn through more calories, so you need more. What about the anabolic response from that? What about the insulin response from that? What about all these things that occur like that? I think we could make the case of potential extra muscle growth. We're talking very minuscule amounts, but again, it allows you to get more calories and more nutrition in for a larger anabolic hormonal response. Now, may not really be worth some gains, but here's the thing I would point out. People are like, well, it may interfere a little with the recovery. Well, maybe hypothetically, but don't you think those extra calories and extra food will more than make up for it? I think that it will. And again, we see it all the time. How many jacked bodybuilders, crazy jacked powerlifters still, a lot of them over the years have still done, light, leisurely cardio and activity every day, sometimes an hour of it, and they still are the best in the world. Plenty of them. Clearly, it's not interfering, right? And the other thing to think about, once you're adapted to it and if you recover from it, it's not going to interfere as long as it's not putting you into a calorie deficit. Now, if you're the hard gainers who struggle to eat, okay, maybe a point. But do they really want to be sedentary either? Couldn't they just find more nutrient-dense, high-quality foods, some peanut butter or something to eat to bridge that gap? I think that they could, says me. Just my opinion there. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.